Hi, beautiful people. How's it going? Today, we're going to talk a bit about the full moon that's going to take place in the sign of Capricorn. And that's going to happen on July 10th, so within 2 days. And Capricorn is a sign that asks us to be responsible, mature, and it's about our commitments. And have you noticed this ingress of Uranus in Gemini? Because, oh my God, it is so crazy. I've just like seeing it play out around me, and it's only been 2 days now. Yes, it's the second day today. And Uranus is shocks and surprises, and Gemini represents our local neighborhood. And oh my God, when I went to the bakery this morning, it was such a chaos. And yeah, it's just very mind blowing how fast a transit really has an effect on all of us. Like Venus is currently with Uranus as well, and I've seen people around me having breakthroughs, having issues in relationships, having these sudden upheavals, or finding out something that has been happening that got like, yeah, it was kind of a surprise. So yeah, I've been seeing the energy of Uranus in my neighborhood playing out a lot, and it's only been like 2 days. So let me know if you have noticed the shift, because yeah, this is only the second day, and a lot more surprises are in store for us. So um, but today I'm gonna dive into the Capricorn full moon. I am, however, gonna do a reading for the 12 signs for Uranus and Gemini, and I'm gonna do that on Thursday or Friday, so as soon as possible. I know I'm like having to catch up on some work, but I'm gonna do them soon for you. So Capricorn, yeah. So Capricorn is what have you built and what needs to be refined, and also where are you ready to step up, because that's all Capricorn energy. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through each of the 12 signs. I'm going to talk a bit about the Sabian symbol, and I'm going to highlight the collective themes for each and every one of us, personally and collectively. So, yeah, let's just start. And oh, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you're already subscribed, then thank you so much for being part of this beautiful community. And Christina, hi, Christina. Hi, Astrid. Love all the information you have for us. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Well, that's so sweet of you, Christina. Thank you so much for joining. And we're gonna dive into today's presentation. So, and maybe before I really dive into this, like something I want to mention is that as of July 7th, all the outer planets have shifted signs temporarily. So this summer, we're getting a sneak peek of what 2026 will look like. But don't forget, 2025 in numerology is a 9 year. It is a year of endings, culminations, and wrapping things up. But this summer, we are going to see a sneak peek of what 2026 will look like. And 2026 will be a very huge year of change. It is a number 1 year, so it is actually a fresh start. But this summer, we're already getting a glimpse of that. So yeah, very excited. Then the other part is that all the planets, a lot of planets, all the outer planets are currently in their retrograde motion or are about to. Because now we're seeing a full moon in Capricorn, and the ruler of that is, of course, Saturn. And Saturn is going to station retrograde 3 days after this full moon. So whenever a planet retrogrades, its energy is heightened. So a very strong emphasis on all the Saturn themes as well. And Saturn is in Aries. It's a sign of conflict and war. And whenever a planet goes retrograde, it is a big reassessment about those things. So, but I'm going to get deeper into that. So yeah, this summer is actually a kind of a test run. It is a kind of rehearsal for 2026 to come. And then we will see which new identities, which new passions, they will get more fully anchored in 2026. So with that being said, we're gonna look at the presentation. And hi, Emily, so glad you're here with us as well. Okay, so um, the full moon is on July 10th, and full moons, they always form an opposition in the sky. So now it's between the Cancer and Capricorn axis, and we are being asked to balance our need for emotional security and themes of the home and belonging, they all belong to Cancer, with the need to achieve, build, and also look at our responsibilities. That is Capricorn. So yeah, it's like the parent Capricorn who provides and enforces structures, and also then the caregiver Cancer who actually nurtures and protects the family. And that is something that we need to balance out right now. So we can all see this tension happening, and it can play out in many ways. It can be about your work-life balance and struggling a bit in that, or there can be conflicts between personal needs and these public demands that we need to acquire or that we need to attend to. So yeah, there's like a push-pull between caring for the family and wanting to advance professionally. And the Sun in Cancer really reminds us that softness and empathy are not weakness, but actually essential counterbalances to our ambition. So integration comes through acknowledging both sides within the polarity. So Cancer might prioritize feelings, but Capricorn wants the real evidence, the tangible outcomes, and also the outcomes of our commitments, and seeing something blossom and all the efforts that we've put in. That is also what's full moon about. It's about a culmination and a release. So if you've been avoiding difficult conversations, if you've been procrastinating, if you have been doubting your ability to lead, then the full moon is going to bring all these matters to a head, demanding a resolution. So another important factor is if we look at the astrocartography for this lunation, then we see something very, very striking. And that was maybe not the right word, striking, but yeah, it just came through, because when the full moon is exactly full in the sky, then it will become totally full exactly over Iran. So yeah, it's going to be very, very visible high up there. It's going to act at its strongest over Iran and over the Middle East. So yeah, that's really, really suggesting that all the significant public events are likely going to take place in those locations around this time. So yeah, and with Saturn going retrograde only a few days after that, it is really like a cosmic pause button, and compelling us to slow down and reevaluate our commitments, and especially related to the sign of Aries, because Saturn is in Aries. So it's the sign of self-expression, assertion, sovereignty, and also armed conflict and war. Aries wants to win at all costs, so it's going to create conflict. So yeah, here we see the first slide, and Capricorn, of course, is the builder because it creates this lasting structure, and it's also the guardian. It protects what endures. That's also about Capricorn. And then we also have the mountain goat, and it's actually a symbol of resilience and a steady ascent. So actually it emphasizes dedication. So yeah, and Saturn is not just the ruler of Capricorn, it is actually the cosmic taskmaster. It's about accountability, structure, boundaries, and Saturn always shows you where the limits are. So, and because it goes retrograde 3 days after this full moon, the next few months are going to be a very, very crucial checkpoint for reviewing our commitments, our long-term goals, and also we're going to take a closer look at the structural foundations of our life. So really a time to reflect on what feels heavy or what feels restrictive, and maybe ask yourself, are you willing to renegotiate? Maybe are you willing to release the burdens, or do you want to reinforce a new structured boundary in the area that feels too heavy? And with all these retrogrades going on right now, it's really a chance to slow down and to reevaluate instead of pushing forward at all costs. Because Capricorn takes its responsibility, but sometimes it's a bit much, and they really need to slow down and really touch or feel into their emotions. And that can be a little bit harder for Capricorns. So and Dennis is here as well. Your knowledgeable shares are so great. Thank you so much, Dennis, for sharing that with us today. And then we're going to look a bit at the chart for the Capricorn moon. So the biggest themes, I've already mentioned a few of them, but it's about structures, about mastery, about authority. So yeah, the government and institutions, and also the discipline to build mastery over time. Capricorn takes a long time to grow, and it always continues to grow and climb that mountain, no matter how steep it is. It is about dedication and continuation as well. So yeah, governments, corporations, and top-down systems, and that's going to be very big over the news in the next couple of days. So yeah, full moons in Capricorn, they always shine a spotlight on what has or hasn't worked in our systems and also our life structures. And the seeds of this full moon were, of course, planted during the new moon in Capricorn, and that was at the 30th of December 2024. So think about what you've seen back then. Something can really come to fruition, or something that hasn't been working that you try to implement can be released right now. Then the moon is actually at 18 degrees of Virgo and 18 degrees of Capricorn, and 18 degrees is a Virgo degree. And 18 degrees is a critical degree. So yeah, and the Virgo tone that is like being intertwined in this full moon, it is about our work, our health, and our daily routine. And Virgo is also about precision, service, and really structured analysis. So as a collective, we're being asked right now, like, what's working and what's out of alignment, and when or where are we being too critical about ourselves or others? So really embrace discernment without sliding into the perfectionism, because the 18th degree is a critical degree, and it really carries more of the shadow side of Virgo, and that really means hypercriticism and perfectionism and this over analysis and overthinking. And in the sign of Capricorn, that really can manifest as a really harsh self-judgment. So the moon can be very constrictive, but it's very, very essential not to let it become demoralizing. So really, really, yeah, take notice of that. Then we also see, because it's in Capricorn and it's trine in Mars and Virgo, and Mars is about to conjunct the South Node, and the South Node is about what needs to be released in our lives. When I'm looking at this chart, it's like, I think we're going to see major layoffs due to AI. Uranus just entered Gemini, and especially in the STEM sector. So all the STEM professions, or everything that's in the STEM sector, is going to see a major release of jobs. Virgo, of course, is also the healthcare, the service industry, and we're going to see layoffs or strikes happening in that as well. Frustrations from the past reach a climax whenever Mars conjuncts the South Node. And here in Belgium, the doctors are having a massive strike right now. So Capricorn, they are people who are in authority. That is not only a doctor, but also lawyers, notary, people who have a very high up position in society. They can be like, something needs to change right now. And luckily, Mars trine the South Node can also be about restructuring in all of these teams, but definitely we're going to see layoffs and also shifts in productivity. So yeah, institutions can publicly start to reveal their new strategic plans. Governments can also announce some kind of reform, and some industries are confronting their flaws in systems that no longer serve the business or the corporation, and something shifting in that. And if we look at Trump's solar return, Trump was actually, it was his birthday on the 13th of June, if I remember correctly. But for America, of course, this full moon brought Trump's big, beautiful bill that just passed the Senate. So they're saving big time on healthcare. So they are actually cutting on Social Security. And that is being made in favor of defense. So Virgo rules health, Capricorn the government, full moon culminations or some type of release. And Saturn, of course, of this full moon goes retrograde in Aries. Aries is the sign of defense and war. So yeah, that's really, really obvious where this big bill comes from. So if you look at Trump's solar return, he actually has a late Virgo rising, as you can see here in the chart. And Virgo rising does put a lot of emphasis on the daily routine, on the 9-to-5 job, and also on the health sector and the service industry in general. So Mars is about to conjunct his solar rising yeah, his solar rising, and Mars will conjunct that in a couple of days, actually from now on until the 26th of July. And after that, it's going to conjunct the exact eclipse degree, and that is the exact same degree that Trump has his solar return rising. So that's really, really very special, actually, to have a solar return rising at the exact same degree of the eclipse that we had in March in the sign of Virgo. That is like very, very powerful. But whenever Mars conjuncts the rising, we just saw it happening in his natal chart. That was when all the bombings were going on. So whenever Mars conjuncts the rising sign, it is a time where conflict seems to find you out of nowhere. And also it can also indicate a health setback, especially because it happens in the sign of Virgo. And I've like talked about that in my video about the conflict of the Middle East 10 days ago. But I might have said some wrong things, or some things that the algorithm doesn't really like, because it got my reach got like went down. So maybe interesting to go look at that. And I've also touched upon it in my July forecast about Mars conjunct the South Node. So if you want to know more about that, I'm not going to get too deep into that now, but you can check it out. So back to the chart of this full moon. So the most affected signs are going to be, of course, the cardinal signs, which are Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, and Libra. You're going to have a square opposition or it happening in your sign, so you're going to feel the most change by this full moon. Not every full and new moon have the same potent energy even for each and every sign, but I'm going to walk you through each of the 12 signs later in this video. So it says like the cosmic spotlight swings onto the structures that we've built in our careers, and on the structures in the governments and also in our ambitions. And it's asking us, like, is this strong enough to last? And the full moon won't feel subtle or vague at all, because Uranus just shifted into Gemini. It is the first full moon that we're seeing with Uranus in Gemini. So, and Saturn is going to station retrograde, really amplifying the gravity of this moment and really requiring these serious decisions about our future paths. So there is a collective atmosphere of public reckoning, where institutions and also authority figures really must confront their past choices and also commit to rebuilding and restructuring their long-term decisions. And yeah, for many of us, this full moon will feel like a very, very big pivotal checkpoint in 2025. And you may later look back on this period and really see that this period was really a time where you recognized what needed strengthening and also what needed a release, so that the next phase of growth can really unfold with maturity and integrity. So, hey, Memjax. Memjax says, hey, everyone, my internet being weird today, Astrid, so I'll be hit and miss for me. Hugs. Well, that is crazy, because yesterday we had like something happening on the boat, also something with electricity and something with lights going on and off. So I was like, this is strange. This is Uranus for sure. So I know, Memjax, this is what's happening for you, and I hope you can fix it soon. So the full moon, also very important, falls very, very closely near a degree, and that degree is actually 2022 of Capricorn. 22 of Capricorn is the historic Saturn-Pluto conjunction that happened at that exact degree, and that happened in January 2020, which actually heralded all the global lockdowns and the massive systemic shifts. So this full moon is going to eliminate and also reevaluate those past years of control and of institutional power, and expect collective and personal reflections on what structures have crumbled or endured since that moment. So it actually goes way back. One of my predictions is that a very important political figure can step down or is going to pass away. Full moons are about culmination, about release, and there's a very big potential to see some kind of funeral that is related to a political figure, or someone that stops, or someone that is being like put aside and he can no longer decide on what's happening next. And can be Netanyahu, to be honest. Wouldn't be surprised by that. So we're going to see how it unfolds. But the central theme here is definitely the tension between giving our power away to institutions and governments, Capricorn, and reclaiming our personal sovereignty. And we need to assess where we still obey to external rules or where we are still being manipulated by fear, and also choose to build more autonomy within ourselves, because the government is not going to save us no matter who gets president or who gets elected, or it doesn't matter. So the Mars trine, the South Node, whoops, I'm going too fast. So the Mars trine, the South Node, is really highlighting health issues. And if you are one of the mutable signs, then maybe you need to be a little bit more careful about inflammation from the past that is going to surge up and wants to be released whenever Mars conjuncts the South Node. And we're going to see revelations about health, about best decisions in the medical field. Really pay attention to the end of July about all these themes, because Mars will go over the South Node and the eclipse degree. So yeah, that is going to trigger something, and we're going to see a little glimpse of what is going to unfold during the next eclipse in Virgo that we're going to have on the 21st of September. So there can be a glimpse of like the future reckoning in the health department that will happen in September, and it won't be pretty, I'm like telling you right now. So then we also have this ongoing innovation, Uranus, and it can bring breakthroughs in regenerative medicine, and also in technological solutions for treatments that went wrong 5 years ago. A positive thing about Mars and Virgo is that there's an energy of focused effort about improvement and also getting the details right. And with Uranus now in Gemini, it's not about I value this, I want you to take my side. No, Uranus in Gemini is about these are the facts and this is the truth. And there's no more picking sides, because this is the truth. So yeah, that's going to be a huge shift, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that will play out now in September with the eclipse in Virgo. That's going to be related to all the things that happened 5 years ago. So collectively, it's really going to highlight these trends about employment, productivity, health systems, healthcare, and we're going to see reorganizations or policy changes meant to increase efficiency, which is also Virgo. And that's going to happen even if they also involve some kind of loss or downsizing. And hey, Emma. Hi, Astrid, very early here. Yes, indeed. Nice to see you live. Hope everything is doing well in these crazy energies. I'm very pleased Uranus has moved out of Taurus. Yes. Well, we're going to see one final retrograde of Uranus back in Taurus. And that's going to happen during the fall for the Northern Hemisphere. And that is going to be the time where they're going to implement the digital euro and the CBDC and all that crazy shit. Yeah, that is going to be the time when things really start to turn digital, because Taurus is about our finances and our money, and we're going to see that happening from the fall into the spring of 2025-2026. So, but with Uranus and Gemini, we're all gonna revolt. So, and then with Pluto and Aquarius for sure. So I don't think it will go smooth. Definitely not if you see what's going on in China. If they are like revolting so hard in China, and that's like a very, very good thing for me to see personally. So themes of employment restructuring, military decisions with Saturn going retrograde in the sign of Aries. And yeah, with the South Node and Mars coming together, there is this energy of a breaking away, of a breaking down of certain military operations as well. Virgo is also about the auto market that could also come up, so vehicles and the manufacturers of that. But it's also going to trigger awakenings about how we've handled domestic attacks and also terrorism in the past. Think about 9/11 when Mars was also conjunct the South Node, but then it was square Pluto, very, very intense aspect. But the Mars conjunct the South Node will perfect on June the 20th. We also see, of course, the Venus-Uranus going on. So that really emphasizes Like Capricorn really emphasizes discipline and maturity, but the backdrop of this full moon also includes Venus conjunct Uranus in Gemini, and that is really an aspect that is going to create a lot of shakeups in relationships and what we value, and also in the collective priorities in regards to transport, communication, and trade, and all of that is getting shaken up. So sudden shifts and unexpected connections. There can be unexpected desires coming forth, and also breakthroughs in communications, and a lot of changes in financial patterns as well connected to trade and business. So that's also going to play out very strongly, especially because Venus is going to square Mars when it's conjunct the South Node. So this is going to create some upheaval for sure. Then another theme that I'm seeing here is that Chiron is in Aries and it's squaring this full moon. So on a personal level, this can mean personal wounding. It depends on where you have Chiron in your natal chart. There can be a wound that is wanting to heal related to your job, your work, your career, your health, depending on where it falls in your chart. But with this Capricorn full moon, it can also bring about where actions taken by leaders or governments can hurt. And they can hurt individuals. Or vice versa, the individuals that actually instigating such things can get hurt themselves. So very interesting dynamic here. And then, of course, there's like so much going on. We also have Saturn conjunct Neptune. So it's leadership, Saturn conjunct Neptune, confusion, deception, lies, things happening behind the scenes, not being told the truth. And it's all Neptune. So whenever we see Neptune, which has a very dissolving quality, conjunct Saturn, there are always system collapses, government collapses. Think about the fall of the Berlin Wall. Think about, the Berlin Wall came up and fell down under these conjunctions. So very, very massive things that are going to change in the government and in certain regimes and in, leadership as general. So Neptune and Saturn are conjunct very, very closely, but not exactly conjunct. That is going to happen in February the 20th, 2026, but now they're going retrograde together, very closely together. So this can create a lot of confusion, a lot of disillusionment about the direction that we're going in and about our identity and also about leadership. Aries is a sign of leadership. So really, really important to ground ourselves and to do practices that really help to calm down the nervous system as well, now that Uranus has shifted into Gemini. So hi, Arnold. Thank you so much for joining. And Mem Jack says, I feel like we are moving so fast. And yes, that is exactly what's happening right now. It feels like 1 month is like 1 week. That is like how I'm feeling lately. The time is flying by so fast, and like I wake up, it's like I don't have time enough to get hungry. The time is just like flying by, and when I'm done at night, I'm like, I forgot to eat, or I forgot to do this or do that, because the time just went by like this. But yeah, there's this like strange things going on. And Memjax also says, if you haven't, please hit the like button. And thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe, because I actually forgot to verify my address in time from my YouTube account. These are like all my Pisces planets. I'm like very good in being with my head up in the air, but these practical grounding, earthing things, yeah, they sometimes like, I need to catch up on them. And I forgot to verify my address. So YouTube decided to take down my monetization. And now my reach is really limited. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to really, get these things in order. But I'm going to switch over to the Sabian symbol for today. And the Sabian symbol, maybe I'm going to show it on big screen, is a child of about 5 with a huge shopping bag. So very interesting theme here for this full moon. So the message is about great expectations. It's about the courage to grow, and also about taking on big responsibilities. And like Capricorn is really about a weight that's on our shoulders. It's about burdens as well. And now that Saturn is going to go retrograde so close to this full moon, it's really asking us to review and reassess where we can maybe lighten some of these burdens that feel too heavy on our shoulders. So the warning about this Sabian symbol is don't bite off more than you can chew. And ambition needs grounding and also self-compassion, because the sun is in Cancer. So a very, very powerful metaphor for the whole collective energy. And it's saying that we are all carrying something very, very big on our shoulders right now. And under this full moon, we really need to release what feels too heavy right now, or situations in where we feel stuck, or in where we feel that there's no growth, that needs to be like released. So on the surface, the symbol really evokes ambition and a sense of carrying responsibilities beyond one's years. The child really represents this inherent optimism and also the belief that anything is possible, while like the oversized bag really suggests that a burden that might be too heavy to sustain without maturity and discernment needs to go. So yeah, it can really stir feelings of pride, but also anxiety about whether we can really deliver on our promises. And it's a call to balance this youthful enthusiasm of the child with the realistic assessments of our daily limits. And yeah, it really cautions us that while ambition is very admirable, like ambition, like I hate to break it, but Pluto is out of Capricorn. It's not about the nicest car, the best house, having a pool. No, it's about doing things that is going to support the collective consciousness and the collective in general. It's now in Aquarius. It's about mass groups of people. So yeah, no, the time of like bragging with your new porch, that time has ended. So, but a lot of people still try, but it's like not giving any satisfaction anymore. So yeah, so we need to balance this youthful enthusiasm with the realistic assessments of our limits. So we must be tempered, it must all be tempered with wisdom and also a willingness to ask for support. And maybe we need to be a little bit careful for stress and burnout under this energy. And maybe we might need to ask someone for help during this time. And I know a lot of individuals and a lot of females need to like really do everything alone, and it can be very, very hard to ask help whenever you're too much in your masculine side. And Capricorn is very masculine. So then some rituals or some things that you can work with this energy. And the first one is, of course, don't skip rest, because emotional processing is a bit intense under this Capricorn full moon. And a good element to work with is, of course, the element of earth. Capricorn is an earth sign. It's ruled by Saturn. So we need to do rituals that ground us, that stabilize us, and also that purify. And because the moon is making a trine to Mars in the sign of Virgo, it's actually a very, very good idea to detox right now. Detox from everything. That can be your screen, can be literal toxins, poisons, and really, yeah, don't let long or don't let inflammation flare up during this time. It will be very, very important to look at these hidden inflammations, and I have been dealing with them as well. But I am a Virgo rising, so Mars is about to hit my rising sign. Help! So yeah, detoxing. I'm doing that like full time right now, and also yeah, consider working with the element of earth. Spend time in nature, ground yourself, bare feet on the ground. Very, very important. And oh, Arno, you are such a sweetie, Arno. Thank you so much. I ask support for Astrid over here. Thank you, Astrid, for all your work. Well, thank you so much, Arno. I'm very, very grateful for all your support. And I just love talking to you guys. And I just love having a place and to share all of this things, because here in Belgium, I live in West Flanders. I live amongst the farmers. They're only busy with their potatoes and they don't really care about what I have to say about the Capricorn Full Moon. So thank you so much for being here. So one of the most important things here is actually grounding, and the chakra is actually for Capricorn is the root chakra, the Muladhara. So very, very important to work with red things, with grounding, with doing meditations that really work on the root chakra. Yeah, it's of course located at the base of the spine. It really represents grounding and stability and security, which of course perfectly aligns with all the Capricorn energy. And it's also very disciplined and goal oriented. But by reaching your goal, you need to be grounded and you need to feel stable. So yeah, work with the root chakra. Then the birthstone of Capricorn is the garnet, and it's associated with protection, with strength, with renewal. It also symbolizes life force, life essence, and it also is capable of warding off this negative, heavy energy of Saturn. It can also promote more stability, the garnet stone. So another thing is, of course, the burning rituals that can help. So write down your outdated ambitions, write down your limited beliefs in regards to success. A lot of people are afraid of success. And yeah, write down your fears, your limiting beliefs, and burn the paper as a symbol of release during this time. Also very, very good time to actually work with career magic. So you can maybe create a vision board that is related to your career. And with Uranus in Gemini, all the things that you thought that weren't possible can actually happen under this energy. Like yesterday evening, Uranus was one day in the sign of Gemini, and I saw someone who was struggling with something very simple, actually, for the past 7 years, and he came up with a solution that just like fixed everything. And he was like, I've been thinking about this for 7 years on how I can fix this, and I found the answer. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's Uranus in Gemini, and that's like only the first day. So enjoy this energy, even though it can be quite chaotic in your neighborhood. It can be very, very, yeah, important to have breakthroughs on these long-standing issues that you're dealing with. So yeah, I think I've mentioned everything about the rituals. So yeah, just know that Capricorn can feel very serious, it can feel very heavy. And with the sun in the sign of Cancer, our emotions are really amplified, and a lot of people are like, oh my God, I have so much responsibilities. And all I want to do is be at home under my blanket, have a cuddle, and just let me feel my emotions. But I'm too busy with like juggling life's responsibilities, and we really need to balance that team out right now. So just know that it's okay to feel both determined and vulnerable. It is the essence of the Cancer Capricorn polarity, and also hold space for both your ambition and your tenderness at the same time. Work on fixing the issues or the hiccups that you find in these right now. So thank you so much, Emily. She says, I really enjoy all these processing ideas. Thank you so much. And yeah, with that being said, we're gonna start the readings for the 12 rising signs. So let me know. Wait, I'm going too fast. First, if you want to know what is your rising sign, you can plug in your birth details here on astroseek.com. Just fill out every information, then you know your rising sign. It is the first big black line that you see of the chart. And by saying that, we can start with Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Do I have an Aries in the chat here? Let me know. Do we have a fellow Aries? Barno, yes, Arno is Capricorn rising. Yeah, oh my God, this is like your full moon. So very, very, very important for you. So for Aries in the 10th house, and I'm just gonna quickly switch something up here on my computer. So bear with me, guys. Okay. Now we're rolling. So Aries, the full moon shines very, very brightly in your 10th house of career. The 10th house is also about your reputation and your public achievements, making it a very defining moment in your professional life. So you might feel that something big is culminating, or that the project is wrapping up, or that a milestone is achieved. It can be a decision about the future of your career that is demanding clarity right now. And for some Aries, that could mean giving a very high stake presentation. Maybe you need to communicate something for a big crowd because the top of the chart is very, very visible. It is about being in the public eye. So can also be about launching a new business. The 10th house is having your own business. Something can be completed in it as well. If you're a little bit more advanced in age, then it can also be about contemplating about retirement. Some of you are gonna make a very major pivotal switch in your public role. And the energy can feel quite intense, but it's also very empowering. And it's intense because Saturn, the ruler of this lunation, is in your sign, in the sign of Aries. So giving you really the authority to decide what comes next. Just know that you're in control of your destiny right now. And the full moon simply shines a spotlight on the choices that you've been preparing to make with Saturn going into your sign fully next year for the next 3 years. So yeah, a lot of new stability is coming forth from that. So yeah, Saturn retrograde in your sign is really inviting a very deep review of your ambitions and also the image that you project out into the world. And you may already sense that there's a big transition coming down the road for you right now. And meanwhile, Mars, your chart ruler, is currently traveling through your 6th house of work routines, your job, your health, your daily obligations, your 9-to-5 job, your daily routine, and it is preparing to meet with the South Node. So the combination suggests that you might feel a little bit worn down by your responsibilities right now, and can also be about old patterns at work that resurface to really push you to make a change, or there can also be some health stressors coming up if you have been ignoring them for too long. So whenever you have Mars in the 6th, you need to be careful for burnout, for conflict at work, for too much stress. Virgo, of course, is the sign of stress. So, and also inflammation that's been lingering beneath the surface. So if your professional life has been eroding your well-being, then this is really the moment to ask yourself very honestly whether that's still worth it. The square to Chiron in your sign really underscores that vulnerability right now. So it's time to heal the part of you that feels that you must prove your worth through constant striving. The good news is despite any fatigue, the full moon is also a chance for validation and forward momentum. So it all depends on your own personal natal chart, of course. But a lot of Aries are going to see a very clear result of their hard work. They're going to receive recognition. They're going to see some progress. There can be a sense of personal triumph as well. So even if you decide that it's time to step away from an old role or a restructure of your commitments, you're going to feel a surge of confidence about where you're headed next. So really your moment to own your accomplishments and to stand tall, and also to know that all your efforts, they haven't gone unnoticed. Your key messages are actually really about stay true to yourself, because and pay attention to everything that feels too heavy or too restricted, and try to make a change in that or let that go. And also resist the pressure to really conform if it compromises your well-being or if it compromises your values. You really have the strength and the authority to really lean into a new course right now, a new direction in regards to how you express yourself, in regards to your career, that really aligns with both your ambition and your integrity. And so every project that you've started around December the 30th, 2024 can now reach a peak or a culmination. So I know Aries, not that easy with Saturn, the ruler of this full moon, going retrograde in your sign, but it's really, really, showing you what's no longer working. So just go with the flow. Good luck, my dear Aries. We have Taurus, sun, moon, or rising. You are gonna have the full moon in Capricorn happening in your ninth house of expansion, wisdom, your belief system, your perspective, your look on the future. It's also religion in the ninth house. And yeah, a very, very powerful time for broadening your horizons. Maybe you're going to do that by starting a new type of education. Maybe you want to start planning a travel. Maybe you're going to develop a spiritual practice that is going to enlighten your mind. You can also work on some kind of publication. The ninth is also about having a book deal, having something released, bumping into a new mentor that helps you on the next leg of your journey. And this lunation brings some kind of culmination and clarity in all these matters. So you might complete a course, publish something significant, experience and shift in how you see the world by gaining some new type of knowledge or by diving into religion. And Capricorn is, of course, a fellow earth sign for you guys. So it's actually forming a supportive trine to all your Taurus placements, whether that's a sun, moon, or rising. Especially if you have angles at 17 or 19 degrees of Taurus, then it's really going to create a very new, stabilizing, growth-oriented kind of energy that can feel very productive and also very encouraging. Saturn, the ruler of this full moon, is preparing to station retrograde in your 12th house. So the 12th is a very mystical, elusive, special mystical house. So it's going to prompt a deeper reflection on your inner beliefs and your unconscious patterns. And something might come up from the depths of your own unconscious. And you're going to, from the unconscious, it's going to enter the conscious, the ninth house from the 12th. So you are going to notice that certain spiritual or philosophical ideas are really evolving, or you're going to let go of some dogmas that no longer serve your growth. And if you've been yearning for a different outlook on life, then this full moon is really the invitation to embrace a whole new paradigm. And Mars is activating your 5th house of creativity, pleasure, self-expression. And you're really supported in sharing your passions right now. And also know that it's about your voice as well, your self-expression, your authentic voice. And especially if you've been working on something creative, can be a project, can be something in teaching, can be something in working with kids. And others are going to want to collaborate with you, and others are capable of inspiring you right now as well. Venus is your ruling planet, and it's conjunct Uranus in your 2nd house of income and self-worth. And yeah, these are some unexpected opportunities that are going to resurface related to money, to resources, to your confidence, your values. And these could really like strongly emerge around this time, like hitting you out of nowhere. So surprising developments can be a new client, can be maybe a sudden payback, or a shift in how you value your own talents, and can also really open up some new exciting possibilities in regards to money. So very energizing, very auspicious for you, my dear Taurus. Yeah, trust in your growth, share your knowledge, and also welcome these fresh experiences that really enrich your life. This is a good one for you, my dear Taurus. Just take some time for rest if you need that. If you feel you need that with Neptune and Saturn going retrograde in your 12th, take some time off to maybe process this new outlook on life and this new perspective that you're going to gain with that. So cool. Christina is a Taurus rising. Oh, that's so cute. It's such a good full moon for you, Christina. And of course, Emma is a Taurus. I just love Taurus so much. They are like, Taurus are ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet of harmony. So whenever me as an Aries, I go full blown off, then there's always a Taurus like, calm down, stay stable, just focus on the harmony. And yeah, Taurus, I just love them. They enjoy enjoying the finer things in life, having good food, always a good mood, and like, yeah, good food is good mood for Taurus anyway. So yeah, good luck, my dear Taurus. We have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What's up, Gemini? How's it going with Uranus entering your sign? Are you still hanging on? So the full moon for you, my dear Gemini, is gonna activate your deep and intense eighth house of shared resources, intimacy, and transformation. So it's about the emotional, financial, and sexual entanglements in your life. That is like very, very deep. And with Uranus entering your sign, yeah, there can be some surprises coming forth from that. So the full moon is going to spotlight your financial, emotional bonds, the things that really tie you to others. And the eighth house is where we really navigate the deeper terrain of trust, vulnerability, interdependence. You might experience a culmination that is related to debts, taxes, alimony, inheritance, or some kind of shared investment. So, actually, money that you share with another or money that you don't have to work for yourself. That is also found in the eighth. So, yeah, maybe you are gonna need to resolve some kind of loan. Maybe you're gonna need to do big payment, and that can come up quite unexpectedly. There can also be some kind of important financial negotiation that reaches clarity, can be in regards to the government, Capricorn, but can also be in regards to people who have some authority over you. For some Geminis, that's gonna be your wife, so that's also a possibility, or your husband. But just know that beyond all this money, there is also a moment to really reflect on the balance of power in close relationships. How is the give and take axis, and how is that going? Really notice where there are attachments that either maybe empower you or deplete you. Because the eighth house, it is an occult house. Every planet that enters the eighth house goes to hell and back. So yeah, it's always about some big transformation. And the eighth house traditionally belongs to Scorpio, so there can be some domination, manipulation being revealed, secrets being revealed. That's also part of the eighth house, and some serious fears that are gonna get triggered. But Saturn retrograde is gonna help you to, yeah, release them. So yeah, can be a little bit of an upheavaling time for you. Capricorn energy is very serious here, and it forms a very awkward connection to all your Gemini placements. Yeah, can create a sense that what is unfolding right now doesn't always feel fully, yeah, you can feel a little bit out of control. Saturn is about to station retrograde in your 11th house of friendships, community, goals, aspirations, and also your invisible networks. And that's really going to signal that a larger shift is brewing in your social circle and also in your long term plans. So maybe you're going to rethink how collective resources are, yeah, being gained, and especially something can see some kind of pause or reflection in some kind of group project, or maybe in some friendships that involve some kind of money. Mercury is your ruling planet, and it's currently in its shadow phase. Very important. We're about to see Mercury retrograde on the 18th of July. So it's really suggesting, and it's like happening in your third house. It's like insane, eh? Because Mercury is your ruler, and it traditionally belongs to Gemini, of course, and Gemini is the third house. And you, as a Gemini, are going to have Mercury retrograde in your third house. With the full moon here in the eighth house, Mercury retrograde in the third house, some kind of contract is going to be broken, some kind of agreement is going to be released for sure. But think about it in the next 3 weeks, as soon as Mercury goes retrograde from the 18th to until the 11th of August, a very, very big change can happen in regards to shared finances, or taxes can be that as well. And Emma says, have fun with Uranus, Gemini. That is so funny. Yeah, like it's been 84 years ago, Gemini, since Uranus entered your sign. So unless you're 84 years or older, you have never dealt with this kind of energy. Luckily, Uranus is about change, and you are a mutable sign. Gemini is about change and adaptability, and it's gonna work way better in Gemini than in Taurus. So don't worry. And oh, Arno, you are a Gemini moon. I forgot. So yeah, Uranus is about to hit your moon. Well, that can be an unexpected baby. So be careful, Arno. So, Gemini, the good news is that so Mercury going retrograde in your third house really suggests that all negotiations, contracts, and discussions around finances are gonna require some kind of second look or some kind of further adjustment. The good news is that it doesn't have to be too bad, because Jupiter is in your second house of income and resources, and it's like, yeah, it's like protecting the second house of income and resource and money and abundance and opportunity. It's expanding that. So whatever is being released, whatever contract is being released, Jupiter is going to expand your money anyway. So maybe it's okay to take a loss right now. It will be very, very easily replaced by the universe. So don't worry. Can also be, can be in regards to property as well, and home and family, something shifting in that, because it's in the sign of Cancer. But okay, I'm gonna just continue. So yeah, about all these things, really communicate openly, be willing to negotiate, and really stay adaptable as you already are, Gemini. A very potent time to clear away all the financial entanglements that really limit your freedom, while laying the foundation for a greater stability right now, because Saturn is going retrograde. So trust that even some topics that are going to feel heavy, really need clarity and resolution, and these things are really within reach, but you need to go first through your fear with the moon in the 8th. So, and then of course with Uranus entering your sign, you're really stepping into this multi-dimensional quantum leap year chapter of like profound personal reinvention. Uranus in the first really electrifies your identity, and also your style, and also how you present yourself to the world. And some people are gonna think that you're like different, and they're gonna ask you like, oh wow, you're so out there, you're so different, you're so eccentric, you're so electric, you're unnerving me, you are restless, what's up with you? And you're going to trigger other people as well with Uranus in your sign, so people are going to notice that. So a big urge to break free from expectation and really experiment with a whole new way of yourself. And there can be a very big radical update about your current priorities in life. So and the full moon in the 8th is really drawn the attention to finances, shared resources, sexuality, finances, and like these emotional deep entanglements. Uranus in your sign is like really whispering that it's time to question all these old definitions of who you are and what freedom actually truly means to you. So, my dear Gemini, stay open to sudden insights, stay open to sudden changes in perspective, and the influence will gradually help you to become more authentic, more innovative, and also more independent. Yeah, my dear Geminis, they are gonna break free for sure. So good luck with that. And Shona, hey Shona, she says, oh my god, transiting Uranus is conjunct my Venus, rising, and Mars. Oh my god, then you must be very, very attractive, because if you have a rising conjunct Venus and Mars, that is whoa, that is power. Like I know a man who has his rising conjunct Venus, Mars, and Black Moon Lilith. He's like one of the most beautiful people I've like ever seen. So yeah, that is like badass femme fatale kind of energy. And luckily you have the Mars also conjunct the rising, because I know other people who have Venus conjunct the rising, and people really they try to profiteer. They try to take advantage of them because they're too sweet. Luckily, you have the Mars as well to exude a lot of passion and power and beauty and femininity. So yeah, with Uranus, oh my god, that's getting shaken up immensely. It can be a very sudden new attraction, but be careful about your nervous system for sure. So stay calm. And Arnold says, "Star baby only possible." Oh, I am magic. Yeah. Arnold, you are. That's for sure. And Emily says, Cancer rising, Aquarius sun, yikes for Uranus into Gemini. I think I am for it. Cancer rising, Aquarius sun. Yeah, you're an Aquarius sun. So yeah, Uranus is your ruling planet. So your ruling planet is on the move. You're definitely very, very emphasized by that. You're really going to feel that, Emily. And I remember from the session that Uranus is like, yeah, I'm not going to say it out loud here on for whole YouTube to hear, but yeah, you're going to break free as well, for sure. So, yeah, wait, good luck, my dear Gemini. Okay, next. So we have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have the full moon in Capricorn in the 7th house of relationships, partnerships, one-on-one commitments. Can be your therapist, can be your astrologer, can be about your clients, people you see regularly on a one-on-one basis. So yeah, for you, it's in your opposite sign, Cancer. So it's one of the most significant lunations of the year for you. So you are ruled by the moon. You feel every full moon more deeply than other signs. And this one will likely bring a lot of clarity and turning points and really pivotal conversations in your closest bonds. And if you have personal planets or angles around 17 to 19 degrees of Cancer, then this could feel especially potent for you right now, unfolding around your birthday and really signaling a major chapter shift. Relationships of all kinds, marriage, business, clients, contracts, they're all in the spotlight. And you might be evaluating where you stand and what you truly, with who you truly want to move forward. Capricorn energy in this house brings a very serious, pragmatic tone to the relationship matters. And you may be assessing whether that a partnership is built on mutual respect, clear agreements, shared goals. And at the same time, Saturn, the ruler of this full moon, is about to station retrograde in the 10th house of career and public life. This is a biggie. Full moon in the 7th angular house. Saturn ruler conjunct the MC angular angle. So it's an angle. It's very important. It really suggests that there are shifts in your professional world that are actually intricately connected to what is actually happening in your personal life below. So you could be rethinking your role in a partnership, in a marriage, deciding whether to commit more fully or really acknowledge that something no longer fits right now. And some cancers may really announce some engagements or some new collaborations to the public, Saturn at the top of the chart, while other cancers are going to decide that it's time to part ways and maybe renegotiate the terms on how or when or what to do. 7th and the 10th are very out there, and whatever unfolds is likely to be very, very visible to others. It's also in regards to your reputation. Saturn can have negative consequences, or some people who have some kind of authority over you can be a little bit hard on you, strict on you. Maybe they are not very happy or eager to help you. That is also a possibility. Capricorn influence really makes people more reserved. But it's a time to really claim your own authority and relationships and really communicate your expectations very, very clearly and decide which bonds are worthy of your investment. So there can be some development or some culmination taking place in your partner's life as well. But luckily, you have Jupiter in your sign right now. So Jupiter is really expanding your sense of self. It's also, if it's Cancer rising, protection to your health and your body. Be careful, because whenever Jupiter conjuncts the rising sign, we can gain a couple of pounds. Like, it's been squaring my sun because I'm an Aries sun and I only look at food and I'm gaining weight. So Jupiter is like really enlarging the body sometimes as well. So that can be something to, but like, it's because you're enjoying the good times with Jupiter in your sign. So you have protection over your identity and your sense of self and the character that you play out there in the world. So that is like a really softening cushion in all of this going on. So it's stopping to square Saturn, Jupiter in your sign. So that is positive. Now you're going to feel the more beneficial aspects of Jupiter in your sign. So enjoy it and good luck, my dear Cancer. And The next one is Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What's up, my dear Leo? How's it going? The full moon is gonna light up your sixth house of work, health, routine, responsibilities, house of stress, house of daily activities, your 9 to 5 job, your colleagues, your pets, bringing really a lot of matters of like order and well-being to a head, and you may feel as if your schedule is overflowing with obligations, can be about deadlines or tasks that need to be completed. And it's also time that you need to take a close look at your habits and really assess whether they are working for you or if you're managing your time in a good way, and if all of that really supports your vitality. And for many Leos, the lunation will highlight the need for really to how do you say streamline your routine, set more boundaries in your routine or at your job, and also invest in self-care. Avoid burnout, guys. You need to rest. I know, and with Mars that went retrograde in your 12th house from December until February earlier this year, you guys are like still kind of, I think, recovering from that. So take rest. And Capricorn, of course, forms a quincunx to all the Leo placements. There can be a lot of friction between your desire for personal freedom and the demands of your obligations. So the full moon ruler is Saturn, and it's actually going retrograde in your ninth house of higher knowledge, of philosophy, travel, really suggesting that changes in your daily life are connected to the larger goals, to the bigger picture. Maybe you might need to rest, take a step back, zoom out a bit, and look at the bigger picture. Maybe you want to study something, or maybe you complete a study. Maybe you are completing planning a trip. Maybe you're committing to a new teacher, a new mentor, a guru, a new type of religion, or reassessing something in these matters. And maybe you recognize that you need a stronger foundation in your everyday life to make all of these aspirations sustainable. Saturn rules your sixth and your seventh. This is at an angular place. So your daily routines, your service. The seventh is about relationships. So for some Leos, it can really involve like coordinating schedule with business collaborators, with your clients. Maybe you need to reschedule something because Mercury is about to go retrograde. Maybe it's about rescheduling things with your partner. Maybe it's about making commitments in a professional collaboration, or maybe adjusting your routine to better support these shared plans that you have with another. And the sun, of course, your chart ruler, is moving through your 12th house of rest. That's why I said that. Rest, retreat, reflection. It is always happening a month before your birthday season, and it is always a time to reflect about the past year and everything that's happened before it's your birthday and before it's your time to really shine, as you always do, my dear Leo. So you might feel a stronger need for solitude, for recuperation, for dreaming. Your dreams might get very big, very vivid with Jupiter in the 12th house. Jupiter is really enhancing everything that is spiritual, everything in relation to synchronicities, the spiritual realms, your spirit guides. You are having protection in your astral body, in your aura, with Jupiter going through your 12th. But if you have been dealing with mental issues, then Jupiter can blow it out of proportion. So it all depends on your natal chart. 12th is also the subconscious, gets expanded, things coming up from that as well. So you might need to prioritize some rest and also balance and be honest about what drains you and release it during this time. And if you've been stuck in habits or these daily cycles that feel oppressive, like perfectionism or overworking or neglecting your well-being or neglecting your talents and neglecting how you need to shine on stage as a Leo, then this full moon really has a chance to break free and create systems that really honor both your ambition but also your vitality. And really trust that taking care of yourself now are really set up to thrive, because Mercury is about to go retrograde in your sign soon on the 18th of July. And it's going to offer a very, very big chance to reassess and realign everything that hasn't been working. So with the Mercury retrograde, some Leos are gonna, really relook at the way how they communicate and how their mind really affects their identity as well, and some restructuring taking place in that. And Leo, Emma says, I'm a Leo rising and moon. That's so cool, Emma. And you have so much fire. I love it. And Emma says, Winter here is helping with the rest part. Oh, yes, luckily. Darkness hours are longer and rest from screens has been needed. Yeah, detox. Detox phone culture is growing, and I think it's very, really necessary because our brain gets so overstimulated. And if you take away your screen, then you already notice a huge deal. So, and Emma says, yep, Jupiter near my ascendant within 10 degrees. Ooh, yeah, well, you might need to be careful for eating too much cake as well, just like me. So, yeah, that's funny. But Jupiter on the rising is also a protection. So that's actually very, very, very cool. And Arno is such a sweetheart. Rest well, Emma. Your soul is always bigger than any physical mark you get. I am at work. I see the rest later. Thank you, Astrid. See you later. Well, thank you so much, Arno. Thank you for the support. And good luck at work. Hopefully, Uranus is not shaking up your emotions too much. Bye-bye. So good luck, my dear Leo. We have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. How is it going, Virgo? This full moon is illuminating your fifth house of joy, creativity, fun, self-expression. It's actually one of the most inspiring and rewarding lunations of the year. The fifth is very, very cool. And I know Virgos, as a fellow Virgo rising, we need to let loose a little bit more, and we need to allow ourselves to have fun and don't be too strict on ourselves. So, but even fun to us, so funny. Fun to us is like a Capricorn kind of way. Like my idea of fun is like making these presentations and like giving you guys all like spilling all the tea. But a lot of people will think that's working. But like for me, it's fun. So yeah, that's actually Us Virgos, we are very, very strict on ourselves. So with the fifth house of joy being illuminated, we need to remind ourselves that it's okay to slip up, to not have everything perfectly in order, to not always have our ducks in a row, and just like enjoy the moment with the fifth. And of course, Capricorn is a fellow Earth sign, so it makes a harmonious trine to the Virgo placements. And Mars is also currently transiting your sign, and it's also going to conjunct the South Node in Virgo soon. So careful for inflammation, guys. Careful for pent-up stress that is having negative effects on the body, inflammation from the past that is reappearing. I had to deal with it. I'm wondering if it's coming up for you too, my dear fellow Virgo risings. Let me know in the comments. Mars conjunct the South Node can also bring a sense of purpose and focus to your passions, but we need to release perfectionism and over-analysis. And the Capricorn Full Moon in fifth is going to help us with that. So you might experience some release or some creative project being finished. There can also be some kind of love affair reaching a turning point, because the fifth house is also the house of love and dating and flirting and making babies and all of that fun stuff. It is in the fifth, but even with that, we use our responsibility because it's in the sign of Capricorn. Virgo risings, that is funny. But It can also be a deepened connection with your children if you already have children, or some personal pursuits that actually bring you joy. It can also be about some hobbies. So yeah, an excellent time to celebrate your talents and to share your gifts with the world, and really lean into activities that really remind you what makes life feel bright, vibrant, and meaningful to you. At the same time, the ruler of this lunation is Saturn, and it's about to station retrograde in your 8th house of intimacy. 8th house is also about vulnerability, your shared resources, your emotional, financial, and sexual entanglements with others. And Saturn is putting a block on that. So, or it's about taking responsibility in these areas, depending on what it is in your chart. But it's going to add a deeper and more introspective layer to all the things that are unfolding right now. The 5th house inspires play, risk-taking, but Saturn in the 8th really asks you to consider whether you feel secure enough emotionally, financially, to fully open up your heart. So you might find yourself reflecting on trust, on your willingness to be vulnerable, on old wounds around worthiness and love and attachment and entanglement that resurfaces. And it's so funny because Virgos and Virgo risings, they are so picky. Still, they succeed in picking the wrong person. Like, that is so applicable for Virgos. They're so strict, and I think because they're so strict, they really block themselves. And I can only speak from my own experience. So it could really like involve working through issues of an intimacy in relationships, or like clarifying the boundaries of a shared investment if you have that. And if you're starting something new in romance or creativity, then it might both feel a little bit intimidating and exciting. But yeah, give yourself all the time to process and also to build a foundation of trust and confidence. And in the meanwhile, your chart ruler, Mercury, is about to station retrograde in the 12th house. It's already in its shadow phase, so it's going to go retrograde on July the 18th. And it's suggesting that your subconscious will be more active. Things from the depths are gonna rise and roar in the sign of Leo. And you're gonna crave more solitude to really like sort out your emotions, and you want to be like in a private area. So let yourself create and express, but do it without over analyzing. That's so Virgo. South Node is in Virgo. We need to let go of perfectionism. Like, how are you guys doing with that? Because I'm still not succeeding as well as I would like. But luckily, we have a harmonious trine to Mars in your sign, and it really gives the energy and also the courage to go after the things that really light you up inside. Maybe you're going to declare your feelings to someone. Maybe you're going to take a creative risk. Maybe you're going to take a risk in finance, but be careful with Saturn and Neptune in the 8th. Or maybe you're simply going to enjoy living life more fully. And with all the additional supportive aspects, the full moon can also open doors to significant new connections or deepen some existing partnerships in ways that feel very, very fated, feel very destined with the North Node. And yeah, stay open, trust your instincts, allow joy to guide you forward right now. So, Emma says my North Node is in Virgo. Oh yeah, you need to be more detailed and maybe no. Actually, North Node in Virgo can be B because the South Node is in Pisces. It indicates that your past life you were probably some kind of medium, some kind of spiritual guider, a mentor, a guru towards a lot of people. You come from the mystical realms with the South Node in Pisces. The North Node in Virgo means that you need to get your head out of the clouds and like arrange all the earthy daily routine details and things, like the things that I'm struggling with. Some people who have a North Node in Virgo, they need to like they need to get out of verslaving. Addiction is sometimes being a part in your previous life, and now it's like grounding yourself and grounding all the things that you've learned in a spiritual way in a previous life to make them practical in this life. So yeah, not always easy. My brother has the same north-south node. So yeah, I was a witch for sure. Of course, when you have your south node in Pisces, that is always a big indicator of being a witch in a previous lifetime. So I would have loved to see that, to be honest. So good luck, my dear Virgo. We have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What's up, Libra? How are you doing? The full moon in Capricorn is going to put a spotlight on your fourth house of home, family, roots, your emotional security, matters of the past as well. Really bringing all the things that are private in your private life, things that are going to come to a culmination. So especially if you have Libra placements around 17 or 19 degrees, then it forms actually a tense square towards your sign, really intensifying the feeling that big changes are happening on multiple fronts. So yeah, you are the missing piece of the cardinal cross. We have the full moon in Capricorn, we have Saturn, Neptune in Aries, and we have Jupiter in Cancer. So all the cardinal signs get activated right now, but there's nothing in your sign. So you are receiving from all corners in your chart, you're receiving it in your identity and in your sense of self. So it can actually be a lot. Can feel quite tough, feel quite heavy, can feel quite emotional, to be honest. So yeah, all the pressure is like coming from every direction, and it's coming from your career, your partnerships, your family, and all of this is demanding attention at once. And you're like, whoa, let me have time to breathe, please. Can feel overwhelming, but it's also a very good opportunity to look at all these aspects of your life and also to be clear on what you need to feel stable. Can be a very, very big turning point for you, my dear Libra. Full moons in the fourth, they often coincide with very significant developments related to your living situation, your family dynamics, your inner world, your mother, becoming a mother. You might be moving, completing a renovation. Yeah, talking about some important topic with roommates, or maybe having an important conversation about where and how you want to live. The moon, of course, rules the 10th house of career and also changes at home. So, yeah, your chart is like reversed in all angles. So, making it always way more interesting to read it. So, changes at home are going to be linked to your professional development and vice versa. Some Libras are going to experience a very big breakthrough in their career. There can be promotion, new direction, recognition, yeah, some applause coming forward from that. And it might require you to rethink your domestic life because of that. And even if there are good changes, that can mean very big emotions for you. Maybe you're going to need to adjust, even if it's positive. And Saturn is the ruler of the full moon, and it's about to station retrograde in your 7th house of relationships. And it's really underlying the need for clear boundaries and also having an honest, mature conversation with partners, with family members, with your mother. You might be discussing these long-term plans. Maybe you want to negotiate something or consult a professional, because in the 7th, it's not only marriage, but it's also your therapist, your astrologer, your advisor falls in the 7th, and also your clients. So, yeah. Maybe you're going to need some help to navigate some complex changes. Venus is, of course, your chart ruler, and it is conjunct Uranus in your 9th house. So that is a biggie. It really suggests that there can be sudden travel opportunities. There can spontaneous things happening that pull you away from home for a little while. Maybe they're going to inspire you to envision a fresh start and wanting to do that somewhere new. 9th house. Suddenly breaking free can also be a breakthrough in how you look at the future with Venus, Uranus in the 9th. And Really honor your need for peace and clarity, and set firm boundaries and really protect your emotional space. And also remember that whatever feels intense right now is really paving the new road for, like, yeah, new type of stability and growth coming forward from this moon. So really release what feels heavy, what feels outdated. Just release what really drains you. And bye bye, Emma. See you later. And enjoy your day. Happy good morning. So good luck, my dear Libra. We have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have the full moon in Capricorn happening in your third house of communication, spiking, speaking, learning, local travel, and also your contracts. And it's going to bring very important messages, conversations, negotiations, or some kind of decisions or culmination in that area. And the third house can really feel like a very busy section of your life, and can be emails, phone calls, it's your tech, your gadgets, can be about writing projects, contracts, errands that you need to do, and also short distance trip that also fall under the third house. So for my dear Scorpios, it's also you might complete a course, a study, launch a website, a podcast, finish a writing project, or finally like share an idea that has been growing behind the scenes. And if you're thinking about maybe making some announcements or sending out an important email or signing some paperwork, or clarifying these agreements, then it's really a time when clarity arrives, especially on July the 31st. We have a Mercury Sun GEMINI. So, your voice can carry more weight and can carry further than you think or realize. And that will become quite obvious here with this full moon. And the full moon is making a harmonious trine to Mars, and Mars is your traditional ruler, and it's in the 11th house of networks, community, friendships. So your efforts can actually, everything that you say, write, or speak can reach a broader audience. So friends, allies, business, professional connections, all of this fall into the 11th house because it's Virgo for you in that house. So can also be about a friend dealing with a health issue. That is possible. Maybe your friend deals with some kind of inflammation and asks you for help. That can also be. Maybe you can advise them on that. Everything in regards to friends, they are going to be very supportive, or vice versa, and they're going to help you spread your message or collaborate on some shared goal. Maybe you're going to plan a trip together, or you can brainstorm about new ideas. You can also become a very big leader in some kind of group effort. So really a moment when your communication becomes more impactful, more energizing. But we have, of course, Saturn stationing retrograde 3 days after this full moon, and it's going to do that in your 6th house of work, health, daily routines, responsibilities, stress. Really reminding you that you need to be realistic about your long-term commitments, your long-term deals, and don't overpromise right now. Make sure that your schedule is sustainable, and that everything is being put in its place. Maybe you're going to release some type of technology, gadget, some kind of tech that you use in your daily life, or maybe something in regards to your schedule is going to be released under this full moon. So also a good time to check in with yourself about your mental health, about your productivity. And if you've been overwhelmed, or if you've been feeling a little bit scattered, then Saturn retrograde is going to highlight what needs restructuring in your mindset, in your daily routine, in your workflow, in your job duties. And you might feel motivated to set clearer boundaries, really improve the organization that you're in, improve your productivity, and be more intentional about what you share and with whom or how you connect. And don't rush to any conclusion, because Mercury is about to go retrograde on July the 18th. Really use the full moon to communicate your priorities and really find clarity in your plans with others, and also create a more balanced approach to your daily routine, and negotiate or finalize some kind of agreement. And also know that your determination and also your strategicness is going to help you to move things forward in a very, very constructive way. So good luck, my dear Scorpio. Okay. We have Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What's up, my dear Sagittarius? This full moon is landing in your second house of personal finance, value, self-worth, resources, really bringing these money matters to the forefront. And a full moon is going to illuminate the part of your chart in the second house of finances. There can be a significant development in money and income and your major purchases and budgeting and spending, and also in taking stock about what you value. It's a release moment, culmination moment. If you've planted seeds in something to regards to your money in December 2024, and then now something can reach a peak or climax or a moment of culmination. So maybe something that you've been working on since the start of the year is now going to reach some sort of completion, and it can be a financial goal, can be a decision about how you earn, how you save, how you spend, or clarity about your material priorities. So the sun is moving, and the moon in the 8th is casting its light on the sun in the 8th. So it's also about the house of shared finances, long-term investments, financial, sexual, emotional entanglements with others. So really an emphasis on how your personal income really connects to what you share with others. Shared finances. And the full moon really forms a supportive trine to Mars. And also Mars is going to conjunct the South Node, and that is going to happen in the 10th house of career. So very positive, but the developments at work are likely to play a very, very big key role, and you're going to transition into something different, a different role at work. Maybe you're going to take stock of your responsibilities, and if you are valued enough at work, and if you don't feel valued enough, you're going to be like, okay, I'm out. Can also be about wrapping up projects that really affects your money flow. Mars in the 10th can give some conflicts with authorities, with bosses, with father figures. So be mindful of that. And it's going to be related to something of the past with the South Node there in the 10th house as well. But an excellent time to review how your professional life really supports your financial goals. And some of you are going to need to make some adjustments. Saturn is the ruler of this lunation, and it's going to go retrograde in the 5th house of joy, creativity, children, romance. It's going to... So some of your current expenses or incomes are going to... the shifts are going to be tied to personal expression, personal fulfillment, and creativity. So maybe you're going to be evaluating whether you're investing enough time and resources into activities that inspire you and that you'll be your authentic, free self. Projects that you're very passionate about, can be about artistic pursuits. Maybe you're going to question whether all the financial pressure and pressure from your boss and things that are really draining you, or draining your creativity and happiness, and if that's all still worth it. But your chart ruler, Jupiter, is in the 8th, so a lot of cash can flow in, but as soon as it flows in, it can flow out again. So Jupiter works both ways. It expands resources of others, but it's flying out your pocket as quickly as well. It's really highlighting tension between security, risk, independence, reliance, and everything in regards to your shared money with others. And Uranus is in your 7th house of relationships. So it just entered an angular house, which is very, very important, very up in your face. Others are shocking you. or others are surprising you right now. And yeah, it's bringing these unexpected shifts in partnerships, and that can also affect your shared finances. So yeah, trust that everything that's changing now in the relationship area is creating space and maybe room for a whole new chapter. Financially, emotionally, creatively, sexually. Stay grounded in what you know is true. You're a Sag rising or a Sag sun or moon. You have a very, yeah, you can zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Remember also that real abundance comes from aligning your material life with what feels meaningful and true, and something can shift in that. So, good luck, my dear Sages. We have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are having your full moon in the sign of you. So, yeah, this is actually, yeah, the only one moon of the year that really shines directly into your sign. No, actually, there are two. There's a new moon and a full moon, but it's the only full moon that shines in your spotlight or shines the spotlight on you. So, yeah, the first house is about identity, self expression, personal growth. Especially if you have angles or planets or anything around 17 or 19 degrees of Capricorn, then you're going to feel this especially in a very, very profound way. And it's going to illuminate how much you've evolved over the past 6 months whenever we had the new moon in the sign of Capricorn, and that was on December the 30th, 2024. So that really invited you to set fresh intentions about who you are becoming and your self-identity. And now this is like all reaching a culmination. So the efforts or the efforts that you did to redefine yourself, to change your habits, to work on your health, to work on your job, to have a lot of dedication as you normally have, the stability that you've built and build upon, the mountain that you've climbed like a mountain goat step by step with a lot of dedication. All these things are now yeah, really reaching a culmination, and all these things made sure that now you can align more fully with all of your goals that are ready to be acknowledged and ready to be seen. So you might find yourself more visible, or people notice you more easily. That can be in your personal life, but it can also be in public life. It can also be about your confidence, your presence, your calm, steady presence that people tend to adore. It can also be about your leadership position that gets acknowledged, and it can also attract a lot of recognition and support. So of course, the moon rules your seventh house of relationships. So it also highlights how your partnerships really reflect your evolving sense of self. And with Jupiter and the Sun in the seventh, that is so positive. It's about new opportunities for real closeness and expansion and sharing wisdom with your partner. Can be a very, very abundant collaboration that comes forth from this, and a real emotional connection is very, very possible from now on until 6 months after. So in the 4 weeks that follow after this one, or the 6 months until we see another new moon in the sign of Capricorn. So some of you Capricorns are going to meet someone very, very significant, or you can deepen your existing bond with your partner, or you can connect with a mentor, a therapist, or a client, or someone who is going to help you feel more understood, feeling more validated, feeling more seen with that person. That can be really, really strong. And it's like fate, it's destiny, it's Jupiter is handing its blessings in the seventh house of marriage. If your marriage has been on rocky grounds, Jupiter can set you free. It's also a planet of liberation, and Jupiter can make space for someone better or someone more fully aligned to come in for you. So at the same time, that might feel you a little bit exposed. Jupiter here and with the full moon might also make you more willing to be vulnerable, but you're also gonna be way more sensitive to how others respond to you right now. So allow yourself to be seen, to be supported, and also remember that showing up authentically in your relationships is also a big part of your growth. Capricorn risings, sometimes they have a little bit difficulties opening up. And then adding to all the complexity is that Saturn, your ruling planet, your chart ruler, is about to station retrograde 3 days after this full moon. And it's going to do that in your 4th house of home, family, and your foundations at the bottom of the chart. So yeah, this is intense. You are having a full moon in your sign, angular house. Opposite is the sun with Jupiter in the 7th house of marriage, relationships. And you're having your chart ruler stationing retrograde at the bottom of the chart in the most sensitive spot of the chart. So it really brings your private side of life into big focus. You might be questioning whether your current living situation or people you live with together or your home still feels aligned, or maybe you're going to feel the pull to revisit some old family dynamics, or you're going to take a closer look and you're going to take a pause button and look at how these unresolved issues from the past are still having an effect on your relationships today. So some Capricorns will be preparing for a move, or maybe they're going to be contemplating about living alone. Saturn puts limits, structure, a new foundation. Saturn can be like, you can come to here, but not further. That can be like literally about your front door and not being able to step in, like holding people out when Saturn goes retrograde in the 4th house. And you can also consider relocating to maybe build a stronger foundation somewhere else. That's also a possibility. So yeah, the Saturn retrograde, it can also give problems with the basement and all of these types of things. Saturn retrograde in the 4th house can give problems with the foundations of your living situation, figuratively or literally. So take some time to reflect on that. This retrograde really invites you to reflect very, very deeply on what home truly means to you. And also it's going to help you to release these old patterns that really keep you from feeling rooted and truly secure. And believe me, whatever happens in your living situation right now with Jupiter in the 7th house, you can feel freed, you can feel an expansion, you can feel like no longer refrained, and finally having space to be your own authentic self. And with the full moon in the 1st, highlighting your sense of identity really like gives a big boom in that in your sign right now. So all these themes that will be unfolding over the next couple of months as Saturn continues its retrograde journey, you need to take a lot of time to reflect about all the angular houses in your chart. Yourself, the 1st, the other, the 7th, the 4th, your home, and the 10th, your career. Some very, very big shift can happen in all of these aspects of your life. So especially with Uranus now entering the sign of Gemini, for you, that happens in the 6th house of health, work, your job, your routine. So be a bit mindful, my dear Capricorns, with Uranus entering the 6th house, your nervous system, it is the house of health, your nervous system can be out of control. With all these unexpected changes and maybe some setbacks in regards to family or your home dynamic or your living situation. And Uranus in the 6th house can give sudden health issues if you feel like you've been like overwhelmed by all these changes. And Saturn is making a square to your rising sign. So this is like so like sometimes I don't have words to like really tell you how important this is, because you are a Capricorn rising. Saturn is your planet. It is at the most sensitive part of the chart at the bottom, squaring your rising. Again, things from the family that can hurt your body, that can be emotional hurt. But then Uranus shifting into Gemini in the 6th house can be like a lightning jolt on your health and on your well-being. And these changes can feel like, whoa, this is too much, and maybe you're gonna be temporarily ill to take a step back and to really reassess what's been going on in your life. Luckily, you have the protection of Venus, but still Venus is gonna square Mars in the 9th house. So something about maybe you're overworking. Capricorn rising, they like to run away from their feelings, try to hide in their work so they don't need to be confronted with their feelings. But Uranus entering the sixth house can be a sudden disruption in the health in which you need to like lay in bed for a couple of days and the universe is making you like really feel into what's going on. So that can happen. It's not going to be bad because it makes trines and it's all okay. But yeah, you need to like really, really process what's going on. And this full moon is like a whole new start for you, my dear Capricorn. And I like could go on and on, but I'm gonna like maybe wrap it up. Is there something else? It is a call to embrace your power, to honor your transformation, also to prepare for new beginnings. New beginnings will be inevitable. Uranus entering your sixth house is a whole new start in your daily routine. Saturn in the fourth is about a whole big shift in your living situation. So just know that you are stepping in a way more mature and self-defined version of yourself, and one that can actually lead with clarity and authenticity and also calmness and stableness. So trust that the changes really are ultimately clearing space for a life that feels more aligned with who you are, who you're becoming, who you are deep inside. So be patient with the emotional intensity that is going to arise and just take a time to celebrate how far you've come. Capricorns, and they need to learn to celebrate their achievements. And also know that it's actually your time to stand in the spotlight. So be confident, do that in a very unapologetic way. And yeah, just brace yourself and be ready for what comes next. And yeah, during the fall, a lot of things will finally be released, and you'll feel relieved after that. So don't worry, my dear Capricorn. And I wish you the best of luck. And Lakeside, hi, Lakeside Laura. She says, what? Capricorn overworking? Lol. Yes, oh my God. Capricorns, like, I love Capricorn, but like, they tend to hide their feelings and run away and just like work, work, work. That song of Rihanna, work, 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 work. That's like so typical Capricorn. So they definitely don't have to feel their feelings. So yeah, Arno, I feel it is totally coming. Astrid, surrendering. Yeah, I know, Arno, you are a Capricorn rising. How are you doing with all of these shifts? Because for Capricorn, it is actually a lot. A lot is happening in angular houses, and like, mark my words, like Mars is currently traveling and it's going to conjunct the south node, and then it's going to like enter the 10th house, and that's going to happen on August the 8th or August the 9th. And then Mars will make an opposition to your chart ruler, Saturn, and it's going to create a kite pattern in the sky. It's going to be a huge time for you, my dear Capricorn rising. August, the whole beginning 2 weeks of August, but especially August 9, August 10, August 8 are going to be very, very specific dates, because there's going to be a kite pattern formed in the sky, and Saturn, your chart ruler, is involved in that. And a kite has two options. It takes off and it flows up in the air, or it comes crashing down. And mostly when Saturn is at the bottom of the chart, it's mostly going to be option number 2. So I'm just warning you, but if that's happening, just know that it's destined, and you're going to have a very, very special kite configuration going on for the entirety of August. And yeah, some very, very destined things are going to take place for you. And Emily can't wait. She said, "Whoop whoop, Aquarius turn." So yeah, I'm gonna switch over, and I'm gonna start Aquarius. So yeah, that is funny. So I want to wish you the best of luck, my dear Capricorn. And whenever you need help, just drop me a comment below, and I'm gonna try my best to formulate some advice for you, my dear Capricorn, because this is my gift from me to you, because it's your full moon. So I wish you the best of luck. Bye-bye. Then we have Aquarius. So Emily, it's your turn now. So the full moon is gonna activate your 12th house, and the 12th house is the woo house. So it's the house of rest, of reflection, of healing, and also the subconsciousness and spirituality and retreat and everything that we're not being able to grasp. So it's making a more of a quieter, a more introspective time, unlike the other lunations that really focus on external achievements. This one is really a big invite for you to slow down and also to listen to what's been stirring beneath the surface. And also, you're going to feel a strong pull to retreat. So, slow down, listen to what's been brewing in the subconscious. You're going to want to spend more time alone. Very big synchronicities, big messages from your spirit guides in your dreams. Prioritize sleep, self-care, take a break from your usual routines. And whenever we have a moon in the 12th, especially a full moon, and in Capricorn, you're being too tough on yourself, and you need to rewire the subconscious and being more sweet and less strict on yourself. The 12th house and Capricorn is also something with overworking, feeling the need to maybe chill out, and your mental health is especially connected to the balance of your mental health is especially connected to work for you guys and to people who have some kind of authority over you. There is always some strange, weird things going on with that, and let me know if that resonates for you, because Aquarius, they don't like authority above their head. Like, they don't like being bossed around. Especially an Aquarius female, they are like the bosses of the zodiac wheel. So if someone is gonna try to really look down on you or tell you what to do, that's not gonna work. That never works for an Aquarius, but I'm digressing. So prioritize really taking a break from your routine, and also emotions that have been simmering in the background can really rise to your awareness right now. Important to really honor them without being too judgmental towards that. Don't be too harsh. Don't be too critical on your subconscious. It's about your dreams, your intuition, and also subtle insights. All these things will be very, very vivid with the full moon here. It's going to help you to understand what needs to be released, what needs to be forgiven, so that you can actually move forward with a lighter heart and a lighter mind and rewiring of the subconscious in some kind of way. And Saturn, which is, by the way, your traditional chart ruler back in the past, is really preparing to station retrograde in your third house of communication, mindset, learning, speaking, contracts. And Emily says this is true. Yeah, I know. Don't boss around an Aquarius. It's like it's always backfiring. And Arno says, I planned a multi-dimensional healer, looking forward to it, and I'm doing pretty fine, only a little bit of too much planned work. So typical Capricorn rising. But you are going to a multi-dimensional healer. I'm very curious on what he's gonna do. So good luck, Arno. So to continue, the third house, communication, mindset, learning, Saturn is going to station retrograde in that, really suggesting that it's time to reconsider how you share your thought, how you speak your voice, how you connect with others. And you might also feel called to write some stuff down, to journal, to meditate, spend time in nature, really process all the recent experiences, take your time to let your dust settle in the subconscious, pause and ask yourself, is the way that I'm thinking or communicating aligned with my deeper values? And are the stories that I'm telling myself, maybe they need to be adjusted, maybe something needs to be rewritten in that. And the reflection will help you to clear all these mental clutter in your mental health space, and it's going to prepare you for the next phase. Uranus, there's so much going on. Meanwhile, Uranus, your modern day ruler, is now entering the fifth house of fun. So fun, creativity, pleasure, romance, dating, children, and very close to Venus. A lot of Aquarius rising are going to be having a very sudden attraction, can have a sudden pregnancy. Be careful, especially during this time. It brings a very contrasting energy of excitement and surprise, and unexpected opportunities that are filled with joy, and where you can really like self-express yourself very fully and passionately. Even if you spend time alone, you're still gonna feel the happiness of Uranus entering the fifth. So yeah, you are an Aquarius rising. You're beginning a very exciting phase and era of breakthroughs and surprises that are all connected to the fifth house themes of pleasure and creativity and self-expression. And yeah, over the next 7 coming years, you're going to feel so inspired to explore new hobbies. Like, you're going to have such an eccentric and such ahead of your time. Yeah, you're having fun with what's being ahead of your time. So yeah, everything that's like too crazy to even think about is your way of fun right now. So creative risks are very well something online. Redefine what romance means to you, what joy looks to you. Uranus here is going to bring some unexpected developments related to your children, pregnancy, artistic pursuits, lovers, flirtations. But really be careful for an unplanned or an unexpected pregnancy with Uranus in the fifth. And like, I know I'm a little bit late. I should have already filmed my Uranus for the 12th sign videos, but I need to catch up on some work. I had, I'm falling behind. But I'm going to release the Uranus entering Gemini for the 12th signs on Thursday or Friday. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to do like a whole recap on Uranus entering the fifth. It's so important for you as your chart ruler. So, but this full moon is a very important turning point in your inner world. It's going to feel like a moment of acceptance, closure, emotional release. If you've been feeling unfulfilled or restless with aspects of your work or your daily life, give yourself permission to step back and really nourish your soul, your spirit, connect with the divine, with the other realms. And you're gonna emerge, from the spirit of reflection, and you're gonna embrace the vibrant changes that are ahead in a way more flowing, natural kind of way. So expect breakthroughs, relationship changes, career developments, and take time to rest, listen, and also trust that transformation often begins in contemplation and stillness. So yeah, exciting times for you, my Aquarius. I'm wishing you the best of luck. Then we have the last sign for today, and that is Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. How are you doing, my dear Pisces? You are going to have a full moon in the sign of Capricorn, and it's going to activate your 11th house of friends, communities, networks, long-term aspirations, the invisible networks in your life. And it's going to bring a culmination in your social life, in your collective goals, as maybe in a group, something in a group, especially connected to work. It's in the sign of Capricorn, something can be completed. And maybe you've planted some seeds 6 months ago, and maybe you have been working on some group projects, developing some new professional connections, and something is like blossoming in that, something is reaching a culmination. So maybe you're going to envision new ways to really contribute your gifts and your talents to a broader audience, or like in a group at work. So you're going to see progress in that. You can have more clarity in these areas during a full moon, and maybe you're going to celebrate some achievements with your friends, with your colleagues at work, if you work in a big group of colleagues, and maybe you're going to launch a project to really share with your community or with your friends. And you're also going to realize which connections truly feel supportive for you, and a very excellent time to reconnect with people who really share your vision. And also, you're going to recognize the value of collaboration and shared purpose. Now, I'm going to say a full moon is sometimes a release. Maybe some friendships are coming to an end. It's also a possibility because they're burdensome, because they feel heavy. then they might get released. But it all depends on your natal chart. So the ruler of this lunation is, of course, Saturn, and Saturn is about to go retrograde, and it is currently in your second house of income, self-worth, and resources. So my biggest tip would be don't borrow any money to your friends, because it's conjunct Neptune. It's going to get dissolved. You're not going to see your money again. Neptune is, of course, your modern day ruler, and Saturn is going to go retrograde, and you're going to reflect on how your finances and also your confidence, really how that shapes your ability to participate in groups, or also how that's how that shapes your ability to pursue your dreams in regards to abundance as well. Questions are going to arise whether you feel enough, whether you have enough, whether you want more resources, experiences, ways to make an income, and if you are enough to contribute to society as well. 11th house. So yeah, there's a chance to really reassess what you value, and also to recognize that your self-esteem doesn't depend on external validation. The full moon is opposing Jupiter in the 5th house of creativity, and also you are encouraged to really continue developing your talents and your passions, so you can share them confidently when you feel ready. And I know for Pisces that might be a little bit more fluid, or like flu, like not clear, no clarity in that right now. But the full moon is trining Mars, that is going to conjunct the south node in your 7th house. So that's in your opposite sign. You're going to feel that very, very strongly. Its energy starting to have effect from now until the 26th of July. It's also going to be very important. So something, past frustrations in regard to a partner can come up for sure, but there are going to be changes in your personal relationships, and it's going to really be influencing how you show up in groups. So don't let other people undermine your confidence right now to shine in a group endeavor. There could also be a reconnecting with past friends, or forming some new alliances that are going to help you break free from these old patterns of dependence. Full moon is going to encourage you to step into community spaces with more authenticity, and it's really to celebrate what you've achieved, and also to trust that you belong and that you deserve a place here, even if you feel like you're ethereal and it's difficult to ground, and the world can feel too heavy for you, especially with the full moon in Capricorn and Saturn retrograde. Things might feel tough because you're so sensitive, and Saturn and Capricorn are a very, very heavy energy. So release what feels too heavy, especially in your social circle. It needs to go right now for your health and well-being as well. So celebrate what you've achieved, and also trust that you belong again. So join a new organization that you feel welcome in, or simply realize that you're ready to take up more space, that you are here to take up space, that you're allowed to take space. And really, this is a big invitation to embrace connection and collaboration in a very, very grounded way. I think that is it. And Lakeside Laura says, oh gosh, between Jupiter retrograde in Aries and Mercury retrograde in Leo, guess I have to stay alert and knuckle down and work. It is Saturn is going retrograde in Aries. I think it's that what you mean. Saturn retrograde in Aries, that is like a big deal. Especially we're all confronted with our wounds of identity right now, because the full moon is actually squaring Chiron. Chiron is also in Aries. Saturn, the ruler of this moon, is stationing retrograde in Aries. So we all need to look at the wounds in our masculine side and heal them. And especially Aries is a sign of leadership. Saturn going retrograde in that sign with Chiron, and the moon squaring Chiron, a lot of people and very higher positions in society are gonna need to face their masculine wounded side. And I think we might see some crybabies in very top positions who are gonna beg for mercy during the next 4 weeks up to 6 months after this with this retrograde especially. So yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting time, and we need to stay alert, knuckle down, and maybe release too much work. Don't work too much. We need to release our burdens right now. And thank you so much, Emily. That is so, so sweet of you. And yes, Laura, crybabies, I think. Oh my God. Like, it's no secret that women are mentally way tougher than men. Like, I'm sorry, we need to birth a baby. We bleed every 3 weeks. So we are always in a lot of pain. Like women are tough. And with the Chiron wound right now and the square to the moon, I think some men are gonna be like, ooh, maybe I need some help from a strong female. And the chat is filled with strong females, so lucky for them. And yeah, how do I do the intro? Thank you for joining me as we navigated the Capricorn full moon. Remember that Capricorn energy, it doesn't sugarcoat, it shows us exactly where we stand without all these illusions. We can build something real, something lasting. Maybe some of us are going to close out a chapter. Maybe some of us are going to claim an accomplishment, be in the spotlight, be celebrated for what we've achieved, and also realize that it's time to set a new goal and that we're going to complete that as well. But trust that this lunation is here to help you mature your vision and also strengthen your commitment to yourself. So if this video resonated for you, feel free to share it, like it, subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know how this full moon is showing up in your life. So take this week and this time to really honor your progress, give yourself a pat on the back for all the things you've accomplished in your life. Also release what's no longer working or supporting you, and really set your sights on the next summit that the mountain goat is about to climb. So wishing you all a clear and steady heart and mind, and also wishing you all the courage to keep on climbing. So I will all see you next time. Stay grounded, stay focused, keep building. And Arnold says, proven women make more connection between the two brain, between the left and the right brain. Men more in the brain parts themselves. So yeah, I was gonna make a joke, but I think it's too much. So thank you, Arno, for this comment. But yeah, I just think a lot of men have had a lobotomy. Like, I cannot help myself. I'm gonna say it anyway. So actually, that makes sense, Arno, what you're saying. So thank you so much, Laura. And good thing that your husband is married to a strong woman for sure. Like, and thank you so much, all. Sending you all the love back to you, and I will see you back soon. Bye bye.